So you're literally me.
There's something inside you.
I see the Ryan Gosling obsession has been around for way longer.
Wait, we're still obsessed with Ryan Gosling in the future?
No. Anyways, tell me more about us in the future. Do we live in a massive mansion? How many hot wives do we have? How many Bugattis do we have? Dude, I'm literally 17. Do we find the meaning of life? Does dad ever come back? Sure. Well, since I'm stuck here, where's your PC? I might as well help edit videos, right? Wow. You really aren't me from the future, huh? What makes you say that? Because future me would remember that in the past, we didn't have a PC.
Wait, we didn't? Nope.
Well then, what did we make our videos on? Our iPad, you dingus. Oh, that's right. So we just never had a computer? Do you have amnesia or something? How could you forget? We had the perfect laptop. We just couldn't edit on it.
Wait, why not? This puppy can run Google Docs at 60 FPS.
You gotta be shitting me. How the hell am I going to edit videos on this thing? It's not like I have an extensive knowledge of video editors, which I could probably use to find out which editor can run on this. Oh wait a minute.
Video editors. Editors to make videos on. Yeah, it's really hard. I had to take a class to understand what these things were.
You're using my laptop? It's my laptop too.
Video editors are ridiculously important to the video making process. Without them, you'd have... Yeah, one of the most difficult choices that anyone has to make when starting a YouTube channel is, what video editor do I use to make my videos? Now back in the day, this was a fairly easy answer. Windows Movie Maker, anyone? It's definitely a meme now, but I remember back in the day, Windows Movie Maker was amazing. As a kid though, I do remember taking the Movie Maker part of the app too seriously. I genuinely thought that this was the app that people made movies on.
Wow, we were that dumb back then? No, you were that dumb back then. But I am you.
Exactly.
So when do we start editing the Call of Duty montage? Oh yeah, I forgot we used to make those. You mean in the future we don't make any of those? No, I'm going. Wait, let me explain. Well, now that we got rid of it.
So yes, the choices were Windows Movie Maker if you were on Windows, or something like iMovie if you were on Mac. However, in the year 2024, you have hundreds upon hundreds of choices. Maybe too fucking many. What's more is that now we have video editors on mobile, making video editing more accessible to more people than ever. So it can be overwhelming when you're just starting out. However, it's hard to deny that this isn't one of the best times to be a filmmaker / video creator. Although I'm kind of scared of AI. So now I'm going through my personal history with video editors, all the ups, all the downs, and then at the end, I'm going to give you the 5 best options for all different types of people.
I'm back! But like why? Well, I figured that getting insulted is a much better deal than having to attend online classes. So you know what? I'll stick around. When did I insult you? You told me that we don't make COD montages in the future. That's how you insulted me.
Alright.
So like, you didn't actually explain why you came to the past, so why the fuck did you come to the past? Well, I came from the future cause in the future, I kill an evil clone of mine, which eventually possesses an evil Sonic doll, which I've come back now to kill. What the fuck?
So let's start at the beginning, shall we? 2006. Fast forward 12 years and I started this channel.
I am so sorry.
Is this how we make videos in the future?
Now initially, I didn't start making gaming videos. I made these dinky stop motion videos and they were not good. My camera quality was horrible, the videos made no sense, and I had like no creativity.
We still don't have creativity, you know.
And also I tried to make a short film and I released a trailer for it, but then I deleted the trailer out of embarrassment.
Your phone ringing. Your phone ringing. Big boy, come pick up your phone.
I'll be right back.
How you know pick up your phone? Your phone ringing.
Man? Hello.
Hello there. I heard you talking about a short film.
Man, I'm literally in the past right now. How are you even calling me?
I don't care what time period you're in. You mention our short film and I hear it from anywhere in the world.
Sorry for deleting the trailer?
Sorry? You think that covers? You know how much that trailer meant to me? It was my whole life for a week. And you deleted it so you can start making silly gaming videos, you piece of shit.
Who was that? Oh, it was just mom. Nobody else. Damn. Since when does mom swear at us? Wait, you heard that? Of course I heard it. I even got a noise complaint from the neighbors.
So yeah, then I decided to make gaming videos because a lot of my friends around me were making videos on things like Fortnite. My good friend Man150,
Piece of shit.
yeah, that one was the catalyst to start making gaming videos, as he was making Fortnite gameplay videos at the time. However, obviously being that young, I didn't really know how to edit videos, so at the time I settled with Imovie.
Well, there goes my reputation. We have a reputation?
Yeah, not the most intuitive video editor, but I made it work. At the time, my videos were just me screaming at the microphone and screen recording Fortnite. So I didn't really need anything too fancy. But even then, I noticed how limiting iMovie was. But I stuck with it because my iPad was literally the most powerful mobile device / computer that I had. Whereas my laptop was this dinky, horrible...
What? Don't insult our laptop like that. We've been through a lot, you know. What, a lot of lag?
So yes, I stuck to iMovie for a while there, despite it being so restrictive. Like, you couldn't even choose a specific font or text animation. I made around 3 videos with it, including my first ever public video and 2 others. One thing I'll say about iMovie is that it's way better on Mac. I haven't used iMovie on a Mac cause tell me, honestly, do we look like we own a MacBook? But from what I've seen online, there seems to be a large amount of people making high quality content on iMovie for Mac, whereas for mobile, it's usually a kid making their first YouTube video. So yes, iMovie overall isn't horrible, but it isn't amazing. It's pretty much the platform for people who can't edit but wants to make YouTube videos for some reason. Eventually, I wanted to try and create videos that didn't, suck. So I tried a different mobile editor called Videoleap, which was recommended to me by Man150. Shameless plug is shameless. Videoleap sucks. Okay. In all fairness, Videoleap isn't too bad. It's basically a slightly more advanced version of iMovie. However, at the time I was too dumb and stupid to take advantage of all of its features, so I just used it for the same things as iMovie. The biggest advantage was the fact that I could actually choose specific font or even download fonts from the internet. I had way more choices when it came to text and video animations. You could set the text on fire. It was fucking awesome.
I used to be happy for the smallest shit ever. Now I'm all like depressed and stuff.
But the thing that really bothered me about Videoleap was just how unpolished it felt at times. iMovie may have been really minimalistic, but everything that it did was really polished. I have never seen that thing crash. It's just like iPhones. Sure, iPhones aren't as cutting edge as they used to be, but they're so incredibly efficient and reliable that it's not hard to sell it to people who want a phone that just works, How about an analogy? Videoleap is like that one friend that you hang out with, not because you like them, but well, they aren't a serial killer, so there's worse video editors out there, and for a mobile editor that's free, it's fine. But its existence is completely and utterly invalidated by an editor that I'll mention soon enough. Now, as I kept making videos, I repeatedly got frustrated with how limiting my editing apps were in terms of options. At this point, I was also not exactly sure what type of content I wanted to make. I made semi-comedy videos, shitty live streams, and just generally generic gaming content. This was also the time when my friends started to make montage type videos of both Fortnite and Call of Duty, which was new at the time.
Now you're getting it.
And I wanted to shift to that style. However, neither Videoleap nor iMovie were quite cut out for this type of content, sadly. So one day, I decided to take the lunge. Whenever I used to search for the best video editors on an iPad, Lumafusion was consistently at the top of the list. So I was intrigued and decided to go ahead with the app. It wasn't immediately obvious to me how to execute transitions or certain effects. There was definitely a learning curve, but once you get into it, it got you hooked. Which is the same with other editing programs like Premiere or Davinci Resolve. Don't worry, I'll get to them. I watched videos, I read tutorials, I downloaded presets, and editing in general had never been easier. Lumafusion was so freeform, and so I was able to consistently pump out these montage videos for a while there, like almost every day.
Yes, this was us at a peak. Well, not really. Well, I didn't really want to do this, but you leave me with no choice.
I was really happy with how things were coming together. At the time, the montage videos were definitely the most engagement and views I got on my videos. Lumafusion was incredible, and to this day, I still think it's the best video editing software to get into the groove of more traditional, non-linear video editors. And now, around the time I was making videos on Lumafusion, I came across this app on the App Store called CapCut. So I tried it out, and honestly, I was fairly impressed. It had a lot of effects that I would usually manually recreate in Lumafusion. Here all I had to do was drag and drop. It was definitely cool, but it wasn't cool enough for me to completely switch over.
That was some more subtle foreshadowing, by the way. What foreshadowing?
So yeah, I was very happy with Lumafusion. However, there was one major problem. My iPad.
You can hear you, right?
See, my iPad, despite being the fastest, smoothest device I had, honestly, that's still probably true. It only had like 32 gigs of storage. So trying to make bigger videos on it was just not possible. I often had to cut short a video just to fit the video file onto my big black thing.
I know you guys were thinking of something else. You naughty. Naughty. No wonder why we don't have in the future.
I wanted to try more comedy-infused gaming videos. I ended up getting a PC because my laptop kind of... Now granted, this wasn't a super monolith gaming PC that every trust fund kid with a wallet and probably a strawberry flavored vape got.
What's a vape? Take me back to this time. Take me back to this time. You are in this time, you idiot.
No, this was a very low-end desktop PC. It was very slow because it was primarily designed for things like browsing the web, watching videos, writing documents. Hey, would you look at that? But then I had the incredible idea of trying to make videos on it just so I can fit more stuff into my videos. So I sought after a good video editing app for my low-end PC. But in a conversation with one of my good friends, Sony Vegas came up, and I was immediately intrigued. I tried it out and...
Whoa, bro, you okay?
Now, I don't hate Sony Vegas. Doesn't mean that I like it. In all fairness, Sony Vegas is a perfectly adequate video editing program, but it just lacks the sauce, you know? The interface, everything that's built in, it just all feels so bland. There's very little about it that's intuitive or fun. Now you might say, oh gee, well it's a professional grade software, why do you need it to look pretty? To that, I say first of all, why do you sound like that? Wait, I made that voice. Secondly, both Adobe Premiere Pro and Davinci Resolve are professional grade editors, but they are way more intuitive than Vegas and their interfaces don't make me... Vegas was ultimately just a means to an end, you know. I was never fully satisfied with it, but I went ahead with it because I thought at the time it was the only video editor that worked on my PC. I made tons of videos with it, but I never had any amount of fun making videos. A lot of people recommend Sony Vegas for its beginner-friendly interface, but in my opinion, it's definitely not. I seriously struggle to see how in the age of Imovie, Lumafusion and Final Cut Pro, this is in any way beginner-friendly. And also the next video editor I used completely shits on the supposed user-friendliness of Sony Vegas. That being CapCut.
Oh, that was the foreshadowing. You mentioned CapCut before. That was the foreshadowing. Thank you.
Now for a while there, CapCut was a strictly mobile-only editor. However, soon enough they put out a version on PC and I immediately switched to it. I used to dream about a clean and efficient editor like Final Cut Pro, but for Windows. And thankfully my prayers were answered. And right off the bat, let's make something clear. CapCut Desktop is very heavily influenced by Final Cut Pro. That's not a bad thing, in fact, it's a great thing. CapCut is really simple to use and there's no other free editor on the planet that I would recommend to someone who's just starting out. I've seen some genuinely Premiere Pro level edits made with both the desktop and mobile version of the app. Overall, CapCut is easily the best value free editor on earth.
What about on Mars?
I'm sure they have great video editors on Mars. Bro, shut up. No one's laughing at your joke. No one's laughing at your jokes either. Yeah, you're right.
However, it has one major disadvantage, that being add-ons. See, one of the great things about Premiere Pro and Davinci Resolve and other editors is that you can easily add on to them. The popular editors, and people are bound to make presets, add-ons, plugins, etc. CapCut, on the other hand, doesn't really allow you to do that. There's plenty of built-in tools, effects, and transitions, but if you want to get more, there's not much you can do. Now granted, this hasn't stopped people from trying to make presets for CapCut. However, none of them plug into CapCut as smoothly as something like Premiere. So while I was enjoying CapCut, I did want more from it, and unfortunately there was no way to get it. So it was once again that time to switch. And this time I took the big plunge.
My god. You found an editor that you actually like and you still switched? What the f is wrong with you? I didn't swear back then, did I?
At last, we arrive at the legendary Adobe Premiere Pro, the holy grail of video editing. Every big YouTuber seems to use Premiere Pro, and after using it, I can see why. Premiere Pro's interface used to intimidate me, which is why I stayed away from it. However, years of experience with other video editors, Premiere's interface didn't seem so intimidating all of a sudden. It wasn't that hard to adapt, and I quickly brushed up on tutorials to learn how to use the thing properly. Another reason I stayed far away from it was because I was afraid my yee-ass PC wouldn't be able to handle it. And that was mostly true. But for the most part, my PC kept up with Premiere. What a good boy, yes you are. What I love about Premiere is that it feels vast. There's a lot of stuff that's pre-built in, but it feels endlessly expansive. Being the most popular video editing software amongst YouTubers means that it has a large community filled with people who have tons of presets, packs, and more. Now, some of you might say most of them are expensive, but surprisingly, there's a lot that are free. Premiere's integration with After Effects also plays a large part into why people use it. Now, my videos aren't complex enough to warrant that, plus I think having both After Effects and Premiere Pro open at the same time would... I loved using Premiere when it actually worked. I think it's almost a cliche to complain about how poorly optimized Premiere Pro is, but it bears repeating. Premiere Pro is insanely poorly optimized. I initially thought that it's just my PC, but when you see YouTubers with incredibly expensive rigs complaining about how poor editing on Premiere can be, then you know it's shit. My breaking point came when I was making the Sonic Dream Team playthrough. Now, I edited the first 2 videos of this series on Premiere and it went well, but then the third part simply refused to render. I finished editing the whole thing. When I went to export, it just refused to do anything. The screen froze, my PC would basically... I had to delete and split the video into 2. I edited the first part on CapCut because that's what I knew best before Premiere. However, that's really when I got to know the limitations of CapCut. Even a simple thing like a drop shadow isn't on CapCut. Now, when I went to make the second part, I knew I had to use something else to get the drop shadow and other effects that I wanted. And that software ended up being... Now, I've heard about Davinci Resolve before, but I never really did any serious editing on it until the second part of the last Sonic Dream Team video. Wow, that's a mouthful. However, I have to say for a professional grade software, it's really intuitive. Not as intuitive as CapCut, but close enough. Now, Davinci is mostly known for its color grading capabilities. In fact, it's actually used to color grade a ton of Hollywood movies. Now, my videos are a little too peasant for color grading.
What did you just call our videos? Oh, shut up. You know it's true, alright. Yeah, you're right.
So I used to and still just drag and drop a filter and slightly adjust some things here and there, and bam, shit looking footage. It is incredibly fluid and smooth, even on my shitty ass PC. So I've stuck with it for now. So after all that schnuzz, let's move on to the top 4 video editors that I'd recommend. Why 4, you may ask? Why are you questioning the validity of a ranking in one of my videos? CapCut for new editors. There's no editor I would recommend to new editors more than CapCut. It's incredibly efficient at what it does, and it's a great gateway editor in my opinion. Whether it be mobile or desktop, it's a great editor all around. Lumafusion, iPadOS users. Lumafusion is the best, most versatile video editor for mobile. Considering it's also on Android now, I have no hesitation to recommend it. It's a little bit more complicated than CapCut and it is paid, but I think it's fully worth it. Once you get a hang of it, it's hard to let it go. Like crack, Adobe Premiere Pro for professionals. Some of you might find this a surprising ranking. Premiere isn't bad, far from it, but for a supposedly professional, piece of software, it's got way too much technical problems even on high-end systems. Davinci Resolve, color grading / alternative to Premiere. Note that these rankings aren't only based on like a quality basis, they're also based on different needs. Like Davinci Resolve might not necessarily be better for you compared to Premiere. It's all dependent on how you edit and your needs. And that's why I put a little tagline next to each of these. So there we go, a video about video editors. This is a very different video to the usual, so I hope you enjoyed it or at least found it informative. So thanks for watching and
Wait, you're gonna end the video without us? Oh right, I completely forgot about us. How could you forget about us, you old bat? Hey, I'm not that old, alright. You know, it wasn't too long ago when we didn't even do any IRL segments. We just made stop motion stuff. Yeah, those were the days. Yeah. No good equipment, no idea what we were doing, no creativity, no bitches. I know for a fact that remains the same. Anyways, this was fun, I guess. I kind of have to go and study now. I thought you had online classes because of, you know, the thing. That's the thing, right? I had online classes, but they're starting regular classes soon, so I actually have to study for once. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I know, right? Now I can't play Clash Royale during maths class. Well, that's sad. Anyways, after I come back from school tomorrow, how about we make a COD montage together? That's a terrible idea. Or how about we remake my first video? You know, the Lego stop motion one. Why would we do that? Because you have more experience editing and stuff. But alright bro, I gotta go. But tomorrow after I come back from school, we execute our plan. Alright? So yeah, I gotta go, okay? Oh no.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
What? It's a great song. Is that Kendrick Lamar? Who's not like us? Is Kendrick Lamar like dissing somebody? Oh man. He doesn't know what's about to hit him, does he?
That fuck 'em up. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.